Guys, welcome back to another live video. So I've been debating whether to do this topic or not. I just feel like there's been a lot of delays today. Satan's been delaying me to do this topic because every time I want to do it, it's like either I'm having an argument online or I'm thinking, is this the right topic to do? But I feel like I should do it. I feel like it's really important because, as you can see from the title, I put sleeping with the enemy, right? And I'm sure there's like a movie titled this, or there's a book or something. I haven't watched it and I haven't read the book. I don't know if there's a book on it, but when you think about sleeping with the enemy, you just think like someone that's against you, right? Um, someone that doesn't like you, but they're sleeping with you anyway, right? So, but I'm not doing it about that. I'm doing it about God, right? God's enemy, right? And we all know God's enemy is Satan, right? That's the main person, right? The first person to rebel against God, and he's not going to be the last, right? He's one of the first, but he's definitely not going to be the last. So, if you look at it in terms of that, he's God's enemy, right? But because we can't see him physically, right? There's so many people that are against God. So many people, right? And those are God's enemies as well. Whoever's against God, you should be against them too. I'm not telling you to go on war. I'm not telling you to treat them bad. I'm not telling you to cut them off. Okay, it depends. I don't know the situation. Obviously, we've got to show love to everybody, right? But we've got to be cautious as well at the same time. So what I'm trying to say is like, because you don't know, those people could turn to God in the end, is what I'm saying. You just don't know. Anything's possible. What I'm trying to say is like, because you can't see Satan physically, you don't realize that these people that you're getting with, or you know, they can clearly be of the devil and they could be against God, right? So just because someone says they believe in God, it means nothing, right? It means something to God, right? And I'm sure it means something to you as well. But if they're not trying to follow God, if they're, you know, you know what I mean, right? So if they're also the enemy, they could also be the enemies, what I'm saying. Like, remember, some people do both. Some people worship God and they worship Satan at the same time, right? So we have to be very cautious, right? Some people don't know what they're doing is wrong, right? Some people don't know, okay? So we have to understand, just because someone's doing it doesn't mean that they have that knowledge. Sometimes they do not know, right? They haven't read the Bible, they don't know, right? They don't have that knowledge behind them, or they think that um living in sin. They may think that living in sin is, there's nothing wrong with living in sin, right? So they could be like lukewarm. They could also just be following the world, right? The world, literally, like you see, like Christians say they believe in God, but their lifestyle say something different. Hey, AP, thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for the like. Um, yeah, so you do have a lot of Christians out here. They're not being taught well. Hi, Maddie. They're not being taught well. They think that how they're living is fine because everyone else is doing it, right? That, this is what people don't understand, right? Remember, we're not born into this knowing everything, right? We're not going to know everything, but like how you're taught as a child is so crucial, because you see that a lot of people that are Christians, they go back, they depart from God, right? And it's always down to their teachings. They don't agree with it. Thank you so much for the like. They don't agree with the teaching, right? So we have to be very careful. We have to have an understanding behind someone. And this is why I kind of do like psychology. So we have to understand that everyone that knows of God, they're not going to know how to follow it properly, right? But we can't also cast them out. But we have to be very cautious as well, because if we have them in our circle, they could like contaminate like our energy and what we're trying to work on with God, right? So now that I've given you that kind of background information, right, and how Satan is God's enemy, and how people do sleep with the enemy, right? And as I said, the enemy is whoever's the enemy of God, it should be an enemy of you, right? You shouldn't be laying down in bed with them, right? But of course, people don't really look into these things. They just live a world where they want to have fun, they want to enjoy life. Some people get involved with partners that are really not godly. And this is so, so important because when you choose a partner, your standards should be high, right? Make your standards higher than you, right? Because you want someone you can grow with, right? You don't want someone, if you believe in God, you don't want someone that is God's enemy. That is a recipe for disaster, right? So the reason why I'm on this topic is because, okay, let me just start from not the beginning, but let me just throw out random scenarios. So I met a guy, right, randomly on the street. Well, not in the street. We're not going to dive into where I met him, but we were talking and I brought up the Lord, right? We started talking about the Lord and hello, Lennon Plays, how are you? We started talking about the Lord, but what I found interesting was he believes in God, he's been to church, but he hasn't read the full Bible. He hasn't read the full Bible and he's okay, it's not a comparison, but he's almost heading into his 40s, right? And he said that he only reads the Bible when he's at church, when they tell you to open the book and read the verses, right? He's only read it like that. So I was trying to help him. I was trying to plant some seeds in his head, and I was like, listen, right, it's so, so important to read the book for yourself because you can get the message. It's not necessarily that. If you get a book, any type of book, and you read it, it's so much better reading it than someone telling you what's happening in the book because you can feel the emotion of the book. You can read what that person may have missed. Hi, Arno, how are you doing? Um, you can get a sense of a complete, if you're reading like little small sentences in a building, someone reading it to you, you're not going to get the gist of the story. And the Bible's full of many, many small stories. So not small stories, but you get what I mean. It's many, many books inside the Bible. So if you're not reading it for yourself, how are you meant to know what's going on in the Bible? How can you answer questions that people ask you? How are you going to know? Because the Bible is a basic instruction before leaving Earth. So if you're not consuming that into your brain, you're not going to be of value to me, right? Okay. So this is what I mean. Like, raise your standards high. Like, if I meet a guy, I want him to like at least be reading the Bible or read the full Bible because at the end of the day, I need help with the Bible. So there's no point me being with someone. I mean, I could do it and teach him what's in the Bible. I could do that because you never know. God could use me to bring someone closer to the Bible. But at the same time, I kind of want to, if I meet a guy or whatever, ideally I want him to be someone that's read the Bible and he knows what the Lord is saying, like he's connected to God, right? This is the whole point. I don't want God's enemy. I want someone that's connected to God because a man can only love you if he loves God, right? If he has the love of God in his heart, he will know how to love properly. A man who is an antichrist can't love you. He can't love you, right? The same applies to men, right? If you're involved, this is so common, guys. This is so frustrating. The amount of men that I talk to that believe in God and they follow God, they get involved with women, right? They have kids with a woman, and the woman turns out to be an antichrist. In the beginning, she believes in God, but then she turns out to be the actual devil, right? And they have to leave, and then the family's broken, right? This is why we have to be careful who we get intimate with because you don't want to get intimate with someone that is God's enemy because you're going to be battling with this person, right? They're going to be against your beliefs. They're not going to draw you closer to God. They're really not. There's also another couple that I was speaking to, and I'm not going to go into detail who they are, right? And, you know, they got like three small children. They're so lovely. And I said to them, have you read the Bible? The answer was no. I was so disappointed. But the response was they've read like Harry Potter books, and I just thought to myself, what is? Yeah, you can read what books you want. I don't agree with reading Harry Potter because it's meant to be dynamic, but I mean, why are you on Earth and not reading the book that God has got for us? This book is important. Thank you so much, Paige. I really appreciate it. The Bible is so, so important. So, if you're in a relationship with someone and you guys are not reading the Bible, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's just so interesting. I mean, everyone's free to live their life the way they want to, but we need to be careful because we're getting involved with people, but are they leading you away from God or they're bringing you closer to God, right? Also, you got, trying to think, you've got people that, they're Christian, right? Lukewarm Christian, should I say? And they believe in just having fun. They're young, enjoying life, and they're sleeping with partners that don't stick around, right? Or they don't commit to them. Why do people become so surprised when this happens? You can guarantee if you meet a guy and you say to him, "Have you read the Bible?" If you speak about God, he will flee. He will go. He will go because, dude, he's only in it for one thing. So why is he going to want to be talking about God and the Bible? It's not in him. It's really not in him. And if most of these people really connected with like someone they're trying to meet and they really tested the spirit and saw if they really follow God, I can guarantee it would save a lot of heartaches. It would save a lot of children being born in toxic families. Um, D Dot said something really important. It said 2900 spreading the gospel. Jesus Christ died on the cross for us, so seek him. He is coming soon. He's coming back. He's definitely coming back. AP, that's correct. Basic Bible is basic instructions before leaving the earth. I agree. And that's why it's so important for people to read it. It's a manual book. It's a guide on how you should be living. And it's not a book you can read once. You've got to read it over and over again. And can I just say, guys, I haven't read the full Bible, and my ultimate goal is to read the full book. Like, I make it like a goal to read a few verses every night. And the reason why I set myself a small goal like that is because I don't want to set a big goal and then I don't read it at all. Thank you so much for the like. I'd rather set a small, manageable goal. So that means that little steps that I do take will get me to my end goal. Better than saying, oh, I'm going to read 2, 3 pages and then every night I don't do it. So, guys, I'm burping. So, I'd rather set a small goal that takes me places than do nothing at all, which is what a lot of people do when they plan to go to the gym and then they plan to go 5 times a week and then they end up never going because it's too much effort, you know. They're not being like realistic. So, when you check it out, right, you got people choosing a sleeping partner over God. You're choosing someone over God, right? Because that person is not of God. So instead of saying no to that person and saying, you know what, you're not for me because I want someone that is of God, you've chosen to still sleep with them, right? And as obviously anyone that knows, that are into following the truth, they know you shouldn't be doing that outside of marriage. But I'm going to be realistic. There's a lot of people doing outside marriage. This is why we're talking about this topic because they're not raising the standards. They're just sleeping with anybody and they're sleeping with God's enemy, right? Can we like emphasize that they are sleeping with God's enemy, right? Let's not sugarcoat it. So the crazy thing about this world is people will choose a sleeping partner over the wrong things in this earth, right? People will sleep with killers, people will sleep with oh, I don't want to go into it, just different like toxic things, like really bad dark things that people have done that's really bad, like against humans, right? They will still sleep with them regardless, even knowing what kind of person they're like, they will sleep with them. And that is so bad. Like, I'm not here to judge, guys, but when you really put it into perspective, right? People really have no standards. They have no standards. They will sleep with anything and they don't care. They'll do it and they're betraying God. They're going against God. It's lust, but at the same time, I don't want to keep blaming lust. I'm going to tell you why. Because some people have got to the point in their lives where they just see people as imperfect, right? And they think it's fine. Or I can't really speak for these people, but it's like I feel like when someone is committed a sin and you know, and you're still choosing to lay in bed with that person, how are you helping that person? Because isn't that enabling the behavior? You're making them feel comfortable with what they're doing, right? You're making them feel comfortable with what they're doing. And I don't know how God judges, but I'm sure if I was a god, right? I couldn't be God, but if I was to be a god, I would hold those people accountable as well because you're enabling it. Your job is meant to make the world a better place, right? So if someone's doing something wrong, you should be correcting them. Hey, just Slay, you haven't been on my life for ages. How you doing? So, I think people need to be cautious and really like pay attention to what they're doing, right? Because it's all right being young and thinking, oh, I'm gonna have fun, but who are you having fun with, right? Because that person could be praying to Satan and laughing with Satan once they've, connected with your soul, right? This is how deep it is. But people don't want to talk these things. They just want to act like, oh yeah, it's just fun. You're young, you got to get out your system. No, you're sleeping with the enemy. And if you was to mention the Bible to some of these people that you choose to sleep with, they wouldn't want to sleep with you, right? They would, but they wouldn't want to talk about the Bible with you, right? They won't want to talk about God with you. They're not interested in that. They're just interested in destroying your soul because that's what sin does. Thank you so much for the like. That is exactly what sin does, right? So, you know, is it worth betraying God and going to hell for it, right? What are we doing? What are we really doing, guys? We need to really take a moment. If you're thinking of calling somebody up, to meet for one night, really think about it. Is this person helping you on your spiritual path? Are they of God or are they of Satan? It's either God or it's Satan, right? And if they are of God, they shouldn't be doing that, right? You really take a moment to think about this. You've got people really calling themselves a Christian or saying they love God, but look at their lifestyle, look at how they're living, right? If they were to read the Bible, they would stop doing it, right? But the problem is a lot of people are not reading the book. They're not reading it, and it's clear. It's clear they don't read it. You're so pretty. You deserve to hit 1K. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. You're so sweet for calling me pretty. Yeah, so when you think about it, think about what people are actually doing, right? The crazy thing is in this world as well, when you've got people living like this, they're not godly and they're just sleeping around and they have a relationship, you see they're seeking more people to do it with as well, right? They're in a relationship and they're still looking for other victims, right? That's the problem with sin. People always want more and more. Thank you so much, AP. People always want more and more. It's never enough. And then you see people get heartbroken. They're like, oh, this person cheated on me. They broke my heart. Dude, that person would never read the Bible, but you still chose to sleep with them. So don't be surprised when they betray you, because the devil's a liar. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised for their actions. They hold no loyalties to you because they don't have no God in their heart. They don't fear God. So why are they going to care what they do to you, right? Why are they going to care? You see it all the time. Guys, dude, I've spoken to men and they get involved with women that have kids and they regret it. They regret the woman they chose to have kids with, and the woman is dynamic, right? She's dynamic, right? This is the problem. You've chose Satan, right? You've chosen to sleep with Satan, right? Thank you so much, Josley. Yeah, so people really, the world is like they're living in illusion, right? Your decisions, your actions, you've chosen Satan, and then people want to sit down feeling sorry for themselves. They want to say, oh, I picked the wrong woman, I picked the wrong man, I've wasted my years on this person, I've had kids with the wrong person. No, dude, you pick Satan, right? Never deal with non-God-fearing individuals. That's true, AP. When people don't fear God, they will kill you. They will kill you. When they don't fear God, they got nothing to lose. You see a lot of Christians get killed as well by friends. And I'm thinking, why are you with friends that don't believe in God? Thank you so much, AP. Oh, just Slay, thank you so much for saying you agree. So we really need to raise our standards high. The scary thing is, like, I was speaking to this guy that's a non-believer, right? He grew up as a Christian, but he had a lot of questions, so I thought he was just being a Christian with lots of questions. And I spoke about him in one of my live videos. And when I tell you he's married a Christian woman, and his answer was like, well, I told him, I was like, she's not supposed to be married to you because that's unequally yoked. And he said, his answer was, well, she knew I wasn't active when she met me, like active in God. The audacity. So he doesn't care. He doesn't care that she's married to him and not to a godly man. He doesn't care. Satan doesn't care. All Satan cares about is taking people away from their potential godly partners and destroying their lives. That's all Satan cares about. And that is a spiritual crime because you can't even prove it. What you're going to do, go to the police and say, oh, this person's of the devil and they've destroyed my life and they're talking bad against God. You're going to look stupid. Why don't you have anyone in your stream? I understand if you don't want to say. What do you mean? Do you mean like if I do like a live collab? I would definitely do a live collab with someone. If somebody wanted to do a live collab with me on YouTube, I would most likely be up for it. If they wanted to do like a talk live stream. Yeah. It depends what the topic is about though. Yeah, so people that don't fear God are reckless. They're so reckless, they will kill and feel no remorse for it, right? So we have to be very careful of the people we're getting involved with, right? We have to be very, very careful. It's a dangerous world out there. And the fact that people think it's okay to sleep with God's enemy is beyond me. You know, some people would choose sleeping with someone, then picking up the Bible and reading it. Their Bible's getting dusty on the shelf, and they're choosing their love life over God, right? So we need to really take a moment to think about this, right? Are we betraying God, right? We betray God by sin, right? And as AP said, he said lust. That's a strong word, and he's right. It's just lust. You know, people are choosing lust because they're choosing that validation that person's chose them to sleep with, so they're going to keep pursuing that. See you, Just Slay. Thank you so much for joining. Mwah. So they're choosing loss, right? They're choosing this thing to feed their ego. They've got this person, that person wants them, and it's just, oh, it just gives me the ick, right? So we have to really think about it. What are we choosing, right? Every single minute of the day, we're making decisions. Are we betraying God? Like, sin is betraying God, right? Living in sin is betraying Him, right? And we all know this, but we still do it. So we need to stop living a life where we're just doing things and not caring about the consequences, right? We need to stop betraying God. We can't follow like other Christians. Most Christians are clearly not keeping themselves in check, right? So we've got to do this on our own, right? And hopefully we can connect with people that are on similar path, similar mindset, because living this life where you don't want to let someone go even though they're saying is just beyond me, right? I'd rather be alone than pick the wrong partner, right? And I understand you can be with a partner and they can have their hiccups, they can, go down, and they feel like their life's not going anywhere and you literally don't know who you've got involved with because their mood has changed. But things can work with the right help and support. But the worst thing is to be with someone that really hates God and to be sleeping with them as well. And they hate God and you're sleeping with them and you're meant to love God. What are you doing? You're sleeping with the enemy. So I'm going to leave this video here now, guys. Thank you so much for anyone that's tuned in. Thank you so much for talking on my live as well, guys. I really appreciate your comments. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much to anyone that's watched this video after I posted it live. And remember what I said, don't sleep with the enemy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Choose God over everything. Always choose God. always, and pray to him and seek him, right? Ask him. Ask him when you get involved with people, ask him to show you the truth, to reveal the truth, if you should get involved with this person or not. So, guys, thank you so much for the like. Take care, and I love you all. Bye.